The gentleman from Texas, Mr. Neugebauer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman, I have a couple of questions. I think the first question is an overall concern that I have when you look at that the meltdown in the economy is just not a domestic issue. It's a global issue. And we're seeing major contractions in the Chinese economy, the Japanese economy, and in the European economy. And many of these countries were countries that we enjoyed them being able to buy our debt because we had a trade deficit or surplus for them. Now, with their economies shrinking and our need to borrow more and more money, some of the countries that were selling us oil at $150 a barrel, those prices have gone down. So a couple of things. One is what happens when we get to the point where there aren't any buyers for treasuries out there and we continue to move down the road of throwing trillions and trillions of dollars at this problem and in trying to borrow that. Now, one of the things when you look at the overall bailout of the markets, some people are quoting $7 to $8 trillion that's committed to this. You've expanded your bank at a pretty rapid rate. You now are, with the balance sheet I'm looking at it, about $2 trillion with a $42 billion, I guess, net worth. The question that I have is what happens when we can't issue debt and there's more pressure then on the Fed to intervene in these. And if when I look at your balance sheet, I see the monies that you've actually advanced, but I know, for example, you're on the hook for $37 billion if Bank of America has some additional losses. With, I believe, Citi, it's $306 billion. I think with Fannie and Freddie, it's $500 billion, or maybe more. Maybe we've committed to backstop the whole. But I don't see those numbers on your balance sheet. And so when I look at your balance sheet, and you've got a 2% net worth, yet you've got these contingent liabilities out there. You'd be on a watch list if you weren't the Federal Reserve. And so I guess the question is what happens if we get to that point, and what is the real number that the Fed is in this game?
So first of all, a couple of points. One is that even though foreign investments in U.S. securities have gone down, the investments have gone down on the private sector side, and investments in treasuries have gone up because treasuries are very safe, and so there's still plenty of funding for treasuries. But I think it is very important that even as we run a large deficit this year and next year, that and the President has said the same, that we work very hard to make sure that we restore a fiscal balance as soon as possible. So I think that's very important, and if we do that, that will make it possible for us to finance our way through this emergency. On the Federal Reserve's balance sheet, of $2 trillion, as you point out, there's no government debt involved there. There's no borrowing, there's not treasury, and also we have nothing to do with the GSEs. We're not lending anything to the GSEs. You're correct in pointing out that we have a fourth loss position for both Citi and Bank of America, which under extraordinarily severe, unprecedented conditions could cause us to lose some money. But right now I feel very comfortable that we're not on the watch list, that we have plenty of capital, that our likely losses are quite small. In fact, while I haven't put together numbers, I would guess that the profits that we make on our lending programs would be a very substantial offset to any losses that we might make.
What would you say is growing the Fed too much? Would you be comfortable growing the Fed to $5 trillion, $10 trillion?
It's the critical issue, sir, is that while the interest rate is at zero, there is no real bound because
we're going to leave this recorded program and take you live over to the